Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, revolutionized the way we understand the human mind. One of his most important and influential ideas is the concept of the unconscious. Freud believed that much of our thoughts, feelings, and desires are hidden beneath the surface, outside of our conscious awareness. His theory of the unconscious explains why we sometimes behave in ways we don't fully understand, and how our past experiences shape our present actions. In this video, we'll break down Freud's theory of the unconscious into simple, easy-to-understand terms. Freud divided the human mind into three parts: the conscious, the preconscious, and the unconscious. Conscious, this is the part of the mind that is fully aware of what's happening at any given moment. It includes everything we are actively thinking about, perceiving, and experiencing. For example, if you're watching this video right now, your conscious mind is focused on the content and what you're hearing. Preconscious, this is the middle layer of the mind, just below the conscious mind. It includes thoughts and memories that aren't immediately in your awareness but can be brought to the surface easily. For example, if you try to remember what you had for breakfast yesterday, that memory moves from the preconscious into the conscious mind. Unconscious, this is the deepest, largest part of the mind, according to Freud. It contains thoughts, memories, and desires that we are completely unaware of. These unconscious contents have been repressed or pushed down because they are too painful, unacceptable, or threatening for the conscious mind to handle. One of Freud's most important ideas is repression. Repression is a defense mechanism where uncomfortable thoughts, feelings, or memories are pushed out of the conscious mind and into the unconscious. Freud believed that much of what's stored in the unconscious is the result of repression. Example: imagine a person who experienced a traumatic event in childhood. Instead of being able to process the event consciously, their mind pushes the memory into the unconscious to protect them from emotional pain. This memory might still affect the person's behavior in ways they don't realize, such as making them anxious or fearful in certain situations, without them being fully aware of the reason why. Freud argued that although the unconscious mind is hidden, it still plays a major role in our daily lives. Many of our behaviors, decisions, and emotional reactions are driven by unconscious thoughts and desires, even though we aren't aware of them. Freudian slips. One famous example of the unconscious at work is the Freudian slip, a mistake in speech that reveals an unconscious thought or desire. For instance, if someone accidentally calls their partner by their ex's name, Freud might argue that this slip reveals an unresolved feeling from their past relationship. Dreams. Freud also believed that our dreams are another way the unconscious mind expresses itself. During sleep, the censorship of the conscious mind is lowered, allowing repressed thoughts and desires to surface in the form of dreams. However, these desires often appear in a disguised, symbolic form. Freud further explained the structure of the mind by dividing it into three components: the ID, the ego, and the superego. The ID is the part of the unconscious mind that operates on basic instincts and desires. It seeks immediate gratification and pleasure. The ID is driven by what Freud called the pleasure principle: it wants what it wants, without regard for consequences. The ID is present from birth and is completely unconscious. Example: if you feel hungry, your ID demands that you eat right away, regardless of whether it's appropriate or possible at the moment. Ego. The ego operates according to the reality principle. It develops as we grow and learn that not all of our desires can be immediately satisfied. The ego works to balance the demands of the ID with the constraints of reality. It operates in both the conscious and unconscious mind. Example: if your ID wants to eat right now but you're in the middle of an important meeting, your ego will find a way to delay satisfying that hunger until the meeting is over. Superego. The superego represents internalized societal rules and morals. It is like a conscience, judging whether our actions are right or wrong. The superego develops through interactions with parents and other authority figures during childhood, and like the ego, it operates in both the conscious and unconscious mind. Example: if you're tempted to cheat on a test, your superego might make you feel guilty or ashamed for even considering it, because it goes against your moral values. Freud believed that many of our unconscious thoughts and desires are formed during childhood, especially related to early experiences with parents and caregivers. He argued that unresolved conflicts from childhood often get repressed into the unconscious and continue to influence us throughout our lives. The Oedipus complex, one of Freud's most famous, and controversial, ideas is the Oedipus complex. He believed that, during childhood, boys experience unconscious sexual feelings for their mother and feelings of rivalry or jealousy toward their father. According to Freud, resolving this conflict is a crucial part of developing a healthy adult personality. For girls, Freud theorized a parallel process called the Electra complex, though this idea is less well developed in his work. Freud believed that when these early conflicts are not fully resolved, they can lead to psychological issues later in life. For example, an adult might have difficulty forming healthy relationships if they have unresolved unconscious conflicts from childhood. Freud developed several techniques to help bring unconscious thoughts to the surface, allowing people to understand and address repressed emotions and desires. Freud's technique of free association involves a patient lying on a couch and speaking freely about whatever comes to mind. The idea is that, by allowing thoughts to flow without censorship, unconscious material will eventually emerge. Example, a patient might start by talking about their day, but gradually, deeper feelings about past relationships or childhood experiences could surface, giving the therapist insight into unconscious conflicts. As mentioned earlier, Freud believed that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. By analyzing the symbols and themes in dreams, Freud aimed to uncover repressed thoughts and desires that are too threatening to be confronted directly in waking life. Freud would often look for hidden meanings in a patient's dreams, trying to decode what the unconscious mind was trying to express. In transference, a patient unconsciously transfers feelings and attitudes from their past relationships onto the therapist. Freud believed this process could reveal unresolved issues and repressed emotions. For example, a patient might start to feel anger or affection toward the therapist, which actually reflects unresolved feelings toward a parent or partner. Freud's theory of the unconscious has had a profound impact on psychology, culture, and the way we understand human behavior. While some of his ideas have been criticized or revised over time, the basic concept of the unconscious mind remains central to many areas of psychology. Freud's work laid the foundation for modern psychotherapy and continues to influence fields like dream interpretation, personality theory, and even art and literature. However, it's important to note that Freud's theories are not without controversy. Some critics argue that his ideas are overly focused on sexuality, while others question the scientific validity of his methods. In summary, Freud's theory of the unconscious suggests that much of our mental life is hidden from conscious awareness. Through repression, many of our desires, fears, and memories are stored in the unconscious mind, influencing our behavior without us even realizing it. While some of Freud's ideas may be controversial, his work remains a cornerstone of modern psychology and offers a fascinating glimpse into the hidden workings of the human mind.